Let me ask you something. Why do men only seem to wake up when they feel they might lose you? You've been there. You've given him your best, your time, your energy, your patience, only to feel like he's taking you for granted. But here's the thing. People don't value what they believe they have unlimited access to. Let me tell you a secret. The moment a man feels that you are truly independent, that you are happy with or without him, he starts paying attention. Why? Because deep down, men know that a woman who doesn't need them is the hardest to replace. So how do you make a man afraid to lose you? Let's break it down. Think of the most valuable things in life. Diamonds, gold, VIP tickets. What do they all have in common? They're rare. You don't see them everywhere, and that's exactly why they're desirable. The same applies to you. If you're always available, always accommodating, and never setting boundaries, he doesn't feel the urgency to appreciate you. The moment he realizes you are a rare find, the fear of losing you kicks in. A man's words are lovely, but his actions tell you everything you need to know. If he's inconsistent, if he says he loves you but doesn't show up, don't chase his potential. Instead, match his effort. If he texts once a day, you text once a day. If he prioritizes you, then and only then do you prioritize him. Ladies, the most magnetic quality you can have is a life that excites you. A man should never be your only source of happiness. When you have your own goals, passions, and social life, he sees that being with you is a privilege, not an obligation. And trust me, men fear losing a woman who isn't waiting around for them. Predictability is comforting, but too much of it gets boring. Every now and then, switch things up. If you usually text first, let him wonder where you are. If you always say yes, let him hear a maybe. Keep an element of mystery and he'll work to win your attention instead of assuming it's always there. This is the real game changer. When a man knows that you are willing to walk away if he doesn't treat you right, he suddenly starts taking you seriously. See, most women threaten to leave, but they don't follow through. And men, they know this. But the moment he senses that you truly mean it, that's when he feels the fear. So ladies, here's the bottom line. You don't need to manipulate, beg, or prove your worth. The secret to making a man afraid to lose you is living in a way that makes losing you a real consequence. Hold your standards, keep your life full, and watch how he steps up, not because you forced him to, but because he knows that losing you is a price he cannot afford. Scarcity creates value. This isn't just a principle in economics, it's a fundamental truth of human psychology. We are wired to want what we believe is rare, fleeting, or difficult to obtain. The moment something becomes abundant, easy to access, or predictable, its perceived value diminishes. This applies to relationships just as much as it does to luxury goods, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, or highly sought-after experiences. When a man believes he has unlimited access to you, he may unconsciously start taking you for granted. But when he feels that your presence is not guaranteed, that you are a person of high value who cannot be easily replaced, he starts to see you differently. Think about it. Why do people clamor for front row seats at a concert but hardly notice an empty stadium? Why do collectors spend fortunes on limited edition items while mass-produced versions of the same thing sit on store shelves untouched? The answer is simple. We crave what we feel we might not get again. When something is readily available, we assume it will always be there. The same logic applies in relationships. This doesn't mean playing mind games or acting distant for the sake of it. It means truly becoming someone whose presence is valuable, not just in the eyes of others, but in your own eyes as well. It starts with the way you see yourself. If you believe you are irreplaceable, others will follow suit. If you act as though you are constantly available, bending over backwards, sacrificing your time, and making excuses for poor behavior, you are inadvertently telling the other person that they don't have to work to keep you. that you will always be there no matter what. And the moment a person feels like they don't have to earn something, they stop valuing it. A woman who understands her value does not chase, she does not beg for attention, she does not settle for breadcrumbs. She knows that her presence in someone's life is a privilege, not an entitlement. And when a man senses that she operates from this mindset, something shifts. He begins to see her as someone he could lose if he doesn't step up. Men by nature are drawn to challenge. It's not about making things unnecessarily difficult, but about creating a dynamic where a man understands that being with you is a choice you make every day, not a need you are dependent on. When he sees that you are confident, that your world does not revolve around him, and that you have the strength to walk away if your standards are not met, he starts to view you in a completely different light. The most valuable people in life are those who bring something unique to the table, an energy, a mindset, a level of self-respect that sets them apart. When you embody this, you don't have to demand respect. It is given to you naturally. A man who sees that you are not afraid to lose him will paradoxically be afraid to lose you, because deep down, he knows that finding someone who carries herself with grace, confidence, and self-worth is rare. The key to making scarcity work in your favor is balance. Being too available can lead to being taken for granted, but being too distant can create unnecessary frustration. The goal is not to make someone feel neglected, but to make them understand that you are a person of substance, a woman whose presence should be cherished, not assumed. Maintaining your standards is not about being difficult, demanding, or playing hard to get. It's about teaching others how to treat you by showing them what you will and won't accept. When you hold yourself to a certain level of respect, consistency, and effort, you naturally communicate that anyone who wants to be in your life must meet those expectations. The moment you compromise on your standards, whether out of fear of losing someone, wanting to be liked, or hoping they will change, you signal that those standards weren't real in the first place. People, especially in relationships, respond to the boundaries we set. If you allow lateness, inconsistency, or a lack of effort without consequence, the message is clear. It's okay to treat you that way. But when you stand firm and let your actions, not just your words, show that you will not tolerate disrespect, something powerful happens. The other person either steps up or steps out. Either way, you win. A woman who maintains her standards does not need to convince someone to treat her well. She does not explain over and over why she deserves consistency, attention, and respect. She simply expects it. And when someone fails to meet that expectation, she does not beg, plead, or justify why she is worth more. She simply moves accordingly. This silent self-respect speaks louder than any words. This doesn't mean being rigid or refusing to compromise on the things that truly matter in a relationship. Relationships require flexibility, patience, and understanding, but there is a difference between compromising on preferences and compromising on your worth. Your standards are not about being high maintenance or too much. They are about making sure you never lower yourself to keep someone who should be rising to meet you. A man will always test what he can get away with. This isn't necessarily because he is malicious, it's just human nature. If he sees that you allow inconsistency, that you forgive broken promises without action, that you accept half-hearted effort, he will believe that's all he needs to give, not because he doesn't care, but because you have taught him that those things are acceptable. But when a man meets a woman who holds herself to a higher standard, who does not entertain behavior that makes her feel small or unimportant, he takes notice. He realizes that she is different from the rest, that she is not someone who will stick around simply because she has feelings for him, that love for her is not enough unless it comes with respect, effort, and consistency. And that's when the fear of losing her becomes real. A woman who maintains her standards does not chase. She does not beg for attention. She does not allow words to replace actions. She listens, but she watches more. She does not threaten to leave. She simply does if necessary. And this, more than anything, makes her a force to be reckoned with. Men respect women who respect themselves. They may be drawn to those who tolerate mistreatment for a time, but the ones who hold their ground are the ones who truly captivate them. Because deep down, they know that a woman who respects herself will only stay in a relationship that serves her. And that kind of woman is impossible to replace. A woman who is independent and fulfilled is a woman who naturally commands respect, admiration, and desire. She is not waiting for someone to complete her because she already feels whole. She does not rely on a relationship to give her life meaning because she has cultivated a life filled with purpose, passion, and joy. This kind of woman is rare, and anything rare holds immense value. Men are wired to chase, to pursue, to feel like they've won something special. But the moment a man feels that he completely owns a woman, that she is dependent on him for happiness, validation, or purpose, something shifts. The excitement fades, the fear of losing her disappears because he knows she isn't going anywhere. But when he sees that she has a life beyond him, interests, ambitions, relationships, and experiences that make her glow with happiness, he realizes that she is not someone he can take for granted. Independence in a relationship does not mean distance or coldness. It means knowing that your identity is not tied to anyone else. It means having your own passions, friends, career, and dreams that exist outside of the relationship. When a man sees that you are deeply engaged in your own life, that you are excited about things beyond him, he becomes more drawn to you. He understands that your happiness is not his to control, and that makes him want to be a part of your world even more. Think about the people who captivate you the most. They are usually the ones who have something interesting going on in their lives, who are passionate about what they do, who have a certain energy that comes from within. This is because fulfillment is attractive. A person who radiates joy, confidence, and purpose is naturally magnetic. And when you become that person, you create a dynamic where a man sees you as a privilege, not a possession. The moment a woman makes a man her entire world, she unintentionally gives away her power. She becomes predictable, overly available, and too easy to read. There is no mystery, no intrigue, no sense of what will she do next. But when a woman has a life that excites her, when she continues to evolve, grow, and chase her dreams, she keeps a man on his toes. He knows that if he does not treat her well, she has the strength to walk away, not out of spite, but because she values herself enough to never settle. Men fear losing a woman who does not need them but chooses them. They fear losing a woman who, if mistreated, won't hesitate to continue her journey without them. And that fear is not a bad thing. It's what makes a man step up, show up, and appreciate what he has. The key is to build a life that fulfills you, not for the sake of making a man afraid to lose you, but because you genuinely deserve to be happy on your own. When you do this, the byproduct is that you naturally become more attractive. Your energy shifts. You become someone who doesn't just exist in a relationship, but who thrives in every aspect of life. And that, more than anything, is what makes a man realize that he can never truly own you. He can only hope to be a part of your extraordinary journey. The power of unpredictability is one of the most overlooked yet effective ways to keep a man truly engaged and invested in you. Humans are naturally drawn to what they can't fully predict, what keeps them guessing, what sparks curiosity and excitement. When something becomes too familiar, too routine, too accepted, it loses a sense of value, not because it's unworthy, but because it no longer excites the mind in the same way. When a woman is too available, when she always says yes, always answers immediately, always adjusts her life to fit a man's schedule, she unintentionally removes an element of intrigue. It's not about playing games or creating artificial distance. It's about keeping a sense of individuality, maintaining your own life, and ensuring that you are not someone who is taken for granted. Think about it. People appreciate what they anticipate, what they work for, what they feel is not easily handed to them. If a man knows exactly what you will do, how you will react, and that you will always be there waiting, he may not consciously lose interest,